Buenos días. Hoy vamos a hablar sobre las variaciones en español del verbo is en inglés. En español existen 4 verbos que tiene en español lo que usamos como is en inglés. El verbo es ser, estar, el verbo I, that comes from the verb haber, which we never really see that way, y el verbo tener. 4 formas en español, una forma en inglés. Empezamos con el verbo ser. El verbo ser, en su forma más simple, significa is. Usamos ser como is for a couple of different reasons. We use it when we want to identify something. So if you want to say she equals my mom, for example. We also use it when we want to describe a characteristic. Por ejemplo, ella es inteligente. Usamos el verbo estar para hablar sobre locación y para hablar de condición. So, ejemplo de locación, estoy en casa. Yo estoy en casa. So, at home is my location. Y un ejemplo de condición, yo estoy contenta. I am happy. Quite happy here. Haber, the verb haber, the form we use of it is I. It never has a subject, so it always just has that one form. So the present tense of haber is I. And that talks about when something exists. So if you want to say it exists, it is, it exists. I'm going to use this verb. So un ejemplo, en mi casa hay 2 personas y 2 perros. So you probably see that this last sentence looks a lot like kind of the one before it. So both ways we have casa. But if I choose the verb haber, I'm just saying that these things exist in this place, right? But if I choose the verb estar, I'm really like my whole point of the sentence is to tell you the location of me. Whereas here in this one, since I chose the verb I'm just trying to say these things exist there. The location isn't the point. Our last verb is the verb tener, which really does kind of mean it has, but sometimes we really use that when we're describing something. So we use it to talk about ownership. And then there's tons of expressions that you just had to memorize that use tener in Spanish instead of ser. So let's look at the first, ownership. So I might say, for example, mi casa tiene 4 cuartos. My house has 4 rooms. So we're kind of describing it, but I'm really talking about has, not is. You wouldn't say my house is 3 rooms. That would end up looking like my house equals 3 rooms, which is a little bit different. And then expressions that use tener instead of is. So things like tiene 4 años. In English, we say he is 4 years old, but in Spanish, you would say él tiene 4 años. expressions like yo tengo hambre instead of I am hungry. Got a whole list of those tener expressions.